chill. Okay, and dang, that Model 3 looks nice, am I right? Even after 2 years, I still don't get sick of looking at it. It looks like a Black Widow is charging at you. But that is what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about the Tesla Model 3. Now, I know lately a lot of our videos have been focused on the Mustang Mach-E, but it is time to get back to the OG vehicle of this channel. We need to talk about the Tesla Model 3 because it is time for a 2-year review. It's crazy to think we've owned this vehicle for that long. I mean, this has been like our baby, like aside from like our actual baby in real life. But we need to talk about this vehicle. There is a lot to cover. We need to talk about costs, like how much has it cost to operate in 2 years? We need to talk about battery degradation. We need to talk about software, autopilots, modifications that we've done. So spoiler alert, this is not gonna be like a super short video, but I think all of this information is like super important. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the finance piece. We're gonna talk about money. So let's head inside to my office so we can crunch some numbers. Let's break down the cost of owning a Tesla into 2 different categories here. One category will be fuel costs and the other category will be maintenance costs. But before we can even talk about that, let's back this bus up here and let's talk about how much it costs to actually buy a Tesla. So brand new, when we bought this vehicle in 2019, it cost us $57,580. Now that does exclude taxes, titles, and fees. And that also includes the cost of autopilot and full self-driving, because why would you buy a Tesla without that? That would be crazy. That's the whole point of buying a Tesla. But in the past 2 years, we have put on 34,500 miles on our Tesla Model 3. And that's kind of a milestone number, so it's kind of cool to do like a 2-year review on a milestone number like that. But our Tesla has seen a lot of America. When we lived on the West Coast, we took it on a few road trips to California. When we moved to Washington, D.C., we drove it across the country. So our Tesla has seen like so many things. And America is beautiful, by the way. If you are in America, let me know what state you're watching in and let me know what your state is like known for. Like I'm from Rhode Island and we're known as the Ocean State. We're really small, but we're really cute. Okay, so let's get back to the Tesla. Yeah, so 34,500 miles. Now let's talk about fuel costs because it does cost money to charge those miles. So let's talk about Supercharger miles first, and then we'll talk about at-home charging. So Supercharger miles, on our road trips, we traveled 11,213 miles. So that means charging at Superchargers has cost us $401.96. Okay, now I have to say kind of like a little bit of a caveat onto that. Some of our miles we actually got for free, like we charged for free, because people used our referral code. So thank you if you were one of the ones who did that. Now some of you might be thinking like, hold up, wait a minute, your free Supercharger miles should not count. Now I have to say, like, I think they do. Because one of the perks of owning a Tesla is getting to be a part of the referral program. And these were like real miles that we traveled. These were real miles that we used and charged on. So this is why I'm letting you know that that's included. So again, like no one's gonna turn down free miles, am I right? Like if someone walked up to you and handed you some free gas money, would you say no thank you? I would say yes, please give me those free miles. Okay, so those were the Supercharger miles. Now let's talk about how much it costs to charge at home. Okay, so charging at home, we charge both in Washington State and we charge both at home here in Washington, D.C. And coincidentally, no matter which side of the coast you're on, you can be bi-coastal and it actually costs the same. It actually costs 9 cents per kilowatt. So that made it really easy to calculate. At home charging, we have spent $607. So the $607, that charged us 23,287 miles. Which is a lot of miles, people. That is like pretty cheap, I feel like. Okay, so let's add those numbers together. Let's add the Supercharger miles and the at-home costs. So that means we spent a grand total of $1,008.86 to fuel our Tesla for 2 years. That is crazy. That is insane. That is so cheap. Okay, now some of you might be wondering, how cheap is that really? Okay, well let's do a quick like cost comparison here. So I've chosen a similar car and we can see how much it would cost to fuel that car in like gasoline. So how cheap is that really? Well, let's do a quick cost comparison here. I've chosen kind of a comparable vehicle to the Tesla Model 3 and I'm using really conservative numbers here. Okay, so let's talk about how much it would cost if we were to fuel a 2019 BMW 430i xDrive Grand Coupe Now I've chosen that one because it's like pretty conservative. I didn't even choose the 440i, I chose the 430i, and the 440 is like more similar in performance. Okay, but let's talk about how much it would cost to fuel that BMW. Now if we were to travel the same 34,500 miles and gasoline was $2.75 a gallon, which again is really conservative because right now as I'm filming this video, gasoline in Seattle is like $3.50. Okay, so to go the 34,500 miles, it would have cost us $3,513. That is crazy. We have charged our Tesla for like a third of that, less than a third of that. So that is money well saved. That is crazy. Like that is really insane. Let that sink in. That is a lot of money. Okay, and just so you know that this is like real, I did get these numbers from fueleconomy.gov. You can go and check it out yourself. And also like it's a .gov website and we know the government would never lie to us. Let's move on to the maintenance portion of this. Let's talk about how much it costs to actually maintain a Tesla, because some of you might be saying, well, like, yeah, you saved a lot of money in fuel, but I've heard Teslas are more costly to maintain. Okay, spoiler alert, we had a lot of maintenance done to our Tesla in the past 2 years. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just seeing if you're paying attention. We had hardly any maintenance done to our Tesla. Okay, I'll break it down. Exactly what we've had done and the exact cost of it. In the past 2 years of owning this Tesla, we have rotated the tires twice. That cost us $160 total. We also had the cabin air filter replaced with a HEPA air filter. That cost $99.95. Okay, we also bought some bougie tires for our Tesla because we wanted to make sure like we're good in all weather. We're in a new climate here in Washington, D.C. We didn't know what to expect for the winter, the summer. So we got some bougie tires. We got the Michelin Cross Climate Plus tires. Now that costs $804.68. Okay, now you might be wondering what other things we had done. We did have the oil changed once. I'm just kidding, I'm seeing if you're still paying attention. Okay, the only other thing we had done on our Tesla, when we bought it, when it was like less than 2 weeks old, there was this kind of rattling noise coming from behind the steering wheel. So Tesla came out, they fixed it, the rattle noise was gone, and that cost us $0. That was free, that cost nothing. That's it, that's all the maintenance we had done on our Tesla, people. Like literally that's it. Okay, so grand total maintenance costs for the Tesla was $1,064.63. That's it. So let's add up those figures. Let's add up the maintenance costs and the fuel costs. How much did it cost to own a Tesla for 2 years? A grand total of $2,073.49. That is it. That is crazy. That is so cheap. I don't think I can think of anything that would be less expensive. Maybe like a smart car, a Prius. I don't know, if you could think of something cheaper that would be to maintain, drop it in the comments below. I'm super curious. Like literally the only thing coming to my mind would be like a bicycle, but even bicycle tires can get pretty expensive. But that's it. That just like makes me so thankful to have owned this Tesla for the past 2 years, because what I save in fuel and maintenance costs, I can spend on other things. I can literally make it rain with my savings. Now we need to talk about something a little bit more important, and that is battery degradation. So this is important not just when talking about Teslas, but really when talking about EVs in general, because it's gonna happen, people. So when we first bought this vehicle, it was rated for 310 miles. Now, 2 years later, almost 35,000 miles later, you can see it's now rated for 288 miles. So I think that's, I'm not really a mathematician, but I think that's like a 7 to 8% decrease. So is there battery degradation? Sure. I don't think we're gonna get the full 75 kilowatts anymore. That's gone down. But here's the thing, I don't really feel like it's that big of a deal, at least to me. My PO, my personal opinion, is that yes, okay, that number says 288 now, but after owning the Tesla for 2 years, after taking it on tons of road trips and driving it across the country, I have seen that number fluctuate anywhere from like 280 all the way up to 312 miles. So really this is kind of like a guesstimator. So I don't think it's like a huge deal because there are tons of factors that are gonna make it fluctuate. I noticed when we drove across the country and we kept it at like a constant speed, like that's gonna affect it. If you're charging at like a level 3 charger versus a level 1 charger, even the outside temperature. I mean, we traveled more in the summer, so that's gonna affect it too because it's hotter. So there are a lot of factors that go into it and that number really fluctuates. Also, for me, I don't think it matters that much because, I mean, owning a Tesla, superchargers are everywhere, so you can always get a quick charge. But also, my day-to-day life, it doesn't really affect it that much. If you have anything to add about battery degradation, please put it in the comments below. I would love to read it. I know when people first get their EVs though, like you'll read in the forums, people will say like, well, I bought my car 2 months ago, it was rated for 310, and now it's gone down. And that's really concerning as like a new EV owner because the number's gone down and like it just freaks you out. But in the long run, it doesn't really matter that much to me. It doesn't really affect my day-to-day life. So that's kind of my take on it. Let's segue from there. Let's segue from battery degradation to software updates. Because this vehicle is not the same Tesla that we bought 2 years ago. This is kind of like a brand new car still. So that's another thing I love about Tesla is that they're constantly updating their car. They're constantly up to date. This car is still fresh to death, people. I love it. Okay, so yes, they have like their gimmicky kind of updates. Like yes, you can watch like Netflix and Hulu and YouTube. I hope you're watching my channel while you're charging your vehicle. And yes, fart mode, like that is hilarious. I have the maturity level of like a 12-year-old boy. So I think it's so funny. The only thing I'm actually kind of upset about is that our Model 3 was made before they had the outside speaker put on, so we can't do like the fart that you can do outside now. My father-in-law's Tesla Model S has that, and we just kind of sat in the parking lot one day and we were just like farting at people as they walked by. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it because I was dying. Okay, but even though our Model 3 does not have that, it was made prior to that, everything else about this vehicle is still like really fresh, but there are more serious software updates that have been done as well. Improvements to Sentry Mode, to dash cam, driver visualization has like only gotten so much better. Okay, and speaking of driver visualization, I have to kind of camp out on this topic for a hot second because a lot of other auto manufacturers, they have their own driver's assistance programs, but they're really falling short when it comes in comparison to Tesla. Of course, I've driven Ford's Copilot 360, hello Mach-E, but there's also like Honda Sense, Toyota Sense, Audi has their version, BMW, Jaguar. I think the only major one I haven't driven so far has been Mercedes. I've driven Nissans too, and so far everything kind of pales in comparison. There's nothing quite like Tesla at the moment. Like their driver visualization, it literally can see what I can see. When I look around and I see the car like to my left and to my right, and I can see 2 cars ahead of me through my windshield, and I look at my screen and the car is seeing the same thing, it just kind of instills a little bit more confidence in me as a driver, knowing that the car can see all of this. The car is preparing to do things like even when I'm not able to. Even when I'm in the Mach-E, like yes, I think it has a good package. Again, not as advanced as Tesla, but when I look at like the driver's display on the Mach-E, it really only shows me the car in front of me's back bumper. Like it doesn't even show me the full car, and I can't even see any of the cars to the side of me. So it just kind of makes me want to like be extra aware. It makes me a little bit more cautious. I don't have as much confidence in my Mach-E as I do in my Tesla. But the software updates, they've really been on top of that. They roll them out like every few weeks. It's not like every so often, like every few months or once a year you get an update. Tesla is continuing to stay on top of things, and we can't end the review without talking about autopilot because even though we bought the Tesla to like be better for the environment, autopilot was a huge reason of why we bought the Tesla. So far, in comparison to all the other auto manufacturers, Tesla like is above all of them. They're in a league of their own. I have to say with Tesla, when I'm driving on the road, I have full confidence in the vehicle. If I'm driving on the highway and I'm in autopilot, like I have confidence that if there is like an obstacle in the road, the car is gonna move around it, it's gonna keep me safe, we're not gonna crash. Now, if you asked me if I had the same confidence in my Mach-E while it was in intelligent cruise control, I'd have to say I don't have the same confidence. I feel like if there was something in the road, the Mach-E might hit it. Now I think Ford's Copilot 360, like I think their driver's assistance program is like getting better. And of course they're doing like their updates as well. But I have to say so far nothing is on par with Tesla right now. I like that with Tesla, even when you're driving on the road, when you're in autopilot and the cars next to you are going slower, like they're in the next lane but they're going slower, there will be arrows like showing you that the cars are next to you, and the car is prepared that a vehicle in a slower lane might dart into your lane. So it's literally preparing for that. It's like a smarter version of me. And I can honestly say, like, hand to Jesus, our Tesla has saved our life from a wreck on at least more than one occasion. I mean, the Tesla has a ton of sensors and cameras around it. Like, it is constantly, I feel like it's on the prowl, like looking for something that could like go wrong. But even more than that, Tesla's autopilot does really, really well. I think it's the best one out there when it comes to like lane centering. It's gonna keep you right in the middle of your lane. Even when it comes to taking a curve, like if there's a curve on the highway, I've compared the Tesla and the Mach-E. I haven't done a video on it, but just my own PO, my own personal opinion, is that the Tesla, and I don't know how like scientific this sounds, but this is my own opinion, the Tesla will find like the apex of the curve we're going around, and it'll be a nice smooth curve when it drives. It's not really choppy, it's just nice and smooth. Okay, now I've taken the same curve in the Mach-E, and I think the Mach-E, I don't know like how far ahead it sees, but the Mach-E, I feel like it kind of like goes around the curve and it centers you on like maybe the road ahead of you, but then it gets to the next part of the curve and it has to recenter you. So I feel like it's really like choppy when it goes around the curve, like it's constantly recentering you. So it's good, of course, for like straight paths, but again, like going around curves, Tesla has it. I mean, navigate on autopilot is just where it's at right now. Okay, now we have to talk about kind of the elephant in the room here, because we did pay for the full self-driving package. Now, when we bought it, it was $7,000. Now it's $10,000, so I'm glad we kind of bought it when we did. I feel like we saved some money, but some of you might be thinking like we just blew $7,000 because we haven't seen anything come to fruition, even in the 2 years that we've had our Tesla. And I have to say, like, yes, you're true, we don't have full self-driving. I know a lot of people have the beta version, and I'm super jealous. If you have beta version, drop it in the comments below because I want to know who you are. Tesla, please hook your girl up. Send me the beta version. I can't wait to get it. We kind of bought full self-driving, like we kind of bought that whole package like with the understanding that it would kind of be an investment in the car. We knew we wouldn't really get it immediately. We didn't plan on buying the car and then like immediately getting rid of it. We've kept it up until 2 years, which we've loved it. So we know we're gonna keep it for like a few more years here. We don't plan to get rid of it in the near future. So hopefully one day, like it will happen, it will come to fruition and we will get full self-driving. But up until then, I'm really happy with what we do have. I mean, Smart Summon is amazing. It's literally like turning your full-size car into a remote control vehicle. So that's really awesome. Again, navigate on autopilot. Hello, that's awesome. A vehicle that can like go around slower vehicles, one that can like exit the ramp for you when you're on the highway. That is amazing. That is mind blowing. Who could have imagined this like a few years ago? Well, Elon Musk could, that too. So yes, even though it's an investment, and there are still some naysayers saying that full self-driving will never happen, I'm hopeful. I think it will happen. I mean, I'm happy with just the advancements that we've made so far in the past 2 years. So who knows where we could go in like another few months, another few years. I mean, if Elon plans to get us to Mars, like surely we can accomplish full self-driving. Okay, now we have to talk just real quickly about how the car itself held up. Now I'm talking about the outside, the exterior, and the interior. When we bought the vehicle, paint was like a really hot topic. People thought that maybe Teslas were made with thinner paint, and so it would chip easier. Now, kind of a caveat onto this is that when we first bought the vehicle, one of the first things we did was we took it to a shop and we got it tinted and we got a clear bra put on. Not a push-up bra, but just a regular clear bra right on the front bumper. Now in hindsight, looking back, I wish we just did the hood as well. We put that PPF just on the front bumper. I wish we did the hood because there are a few like rock things here and there, a few little chips where the paint like has kind of scraped off. We did get like the repair kit from Tesla and it works really well. It's easy to apply. The color matches because it's the same color as your car. But I wish we could have just saved ourselves the trouble by doing the hood. So next Tesla, definitely PPFing the whole front. But aside from that, the exterior has really held up. Even when it comes to the windshield, I wish I had video footage of this. When we drove across country, you guys, I promise you, we were driving on the road and a boulder was kicked up by the car in front of us. It was a huge rock and it smashed the windshield. Like I thought for sure the windshield was gonna crack. The noise itself like made my heart jump. Like we've had tons of rocks hit the windshield and not a single crack. I promise you, if we were in the Honda Accord Hybrid and we were hit by that rock, it would have like shattered. There would have been cracks all across the windshield. But in the Tesla, that has not happened yet. I don't know if the Tesla windshields are made out of like some sort of like carbon fiber, like bulletproof glass, like the Cybertruck. But it's really held up, so I've been super impressed with that. Now talking about the inside, We did get the black vegan leather. Looking back, I wish we would have gotten the white vegan leather. Knowing now our friend has the interior in white in her Model 3 and it's held up fantastically. I think even like Kim Java, back when she was like Tesla, she even like squirted ketchup on her white leather seats and it just wiped right off. So I wish we would have like known that then, because white looks so good. Next Tesla, definitely going with a white interior. But the black has held up really fantastically, even having a 2-year-old. I mean, he was just like a few months old when we got the Tesla and he's 2 now. So our Tesla interior has been through a lot. It has had applesauce smashed into it, cookie crumbs, like dirty feet, like shoes. There isn't any like pitting in the seats, there's no rips, no tears, even though now we do have a car seat in the back, but we do have a car seat protector. But there's no indentations from that. Everything vacuums up really easily still, which I'm so impressed by. Like, I think that's really amazing. But just circling back real quickly, after owning the Tesla for 2 years, do I have any regrets? None. Zero. None whatsoever. This Tesla has probably been one of the best vehicles we've ever owned. Okay, and I say that, and in our past 8 years that I've been married to my husband, I think we calculated it, we've owned 8 vehicles. That's like a new vehicle every year. And we've owned anything from like sedans to SUVs, even a truck. But the Tesla Model 3 has probably been one of my favorite, if not the favorite vehicle. Actually, I think it really is. I think it's like my favorite vehicle we've ever owned. I have zero regrets, even though I was so hesitant to get it because it's an EV. I am so glad we got it. Okay, but that is it. That is my review on the Tesla Model 3 after owning it for 2 years. Drop me a comment below. Let me know if your experience has been any similar or different, or if you have any questions about it. Also, I'd love to answer those for you. Also, I have to say, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done it yet, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button below. That's all I've got. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.